Hey folks, John Bernakevitch here with All Points Design. That's allpointsdesign.ca. Today we're talking about the Oregon State University permaculture template. And we're talking specifically about the base map and identifying vegetation. So what we'll see on this base map is I've started to look at and look through all of the different elements of the trees and the shrubs that are on this site. Now, we've seen before, and probably in the other tutorials, I was mucking about with one of these icons, and I just found that I wanted delineation between, the deciduous and the coniferous trees. So I wanted the deciduous trees and I wanted the coniferous trees. So I went back and used the two coniferous and deciduous trees, and now I'll be taking out this element. Remember, this is always a draft until you're dead, so to speak. It's always going to be in flux. There's no such thing as a final plan. They're always working or concept plans, because the moment you put them onto the landscape, you've missed something, something's changed. Life is constantly changing around us. So it's really important to keep that in mind. As you take a look at this site, I've got the mowed lawn, which we already have up here, but we have some other elements, and I wanted to start to identify. Now, in this course, for all species, you are to give the common name and the Latin name. The common name and the Latin name, the common name and the Latin name. You're to give both. The reason for that is Latin for science is international, and it can cross all boundaries and all barriers. And it's really important. It's an amazing language to start to learn binomial Latin names, because it does give us access to a wide variety of sources of information that we wouldn't have otherwise if we just kept with our common names. So as we went throughout here, I have a crabapple in the back and a poplar, and we have some conifer trees that I still am not completely sure what are. We have a conifer tree called a mugo pine in the front, and a wild rose, and a lilac. And what I've done is I've used the Latin names as my 2-letter abbreviation, or 1 letter if I'm not totally sure what poplar species that this is. I just know it's populous. So what I've done is I've gone through and I put all this information in, and I put it directly on the site, and then started to have a little legend. It's not required to do this for the base map, but I wanted to introduce you to it so you get a sense of it going forward, because eventually it'll be required to understand the plants on site. Now you might be saying, I don't know what all the plants are on site. I totally get you. I don't know some of these either. That's an opportunity to reach out either to local specialists or horticulturalist, or to go onto the internet, be it on places like Reddit. I'm subscribed to a great subreddit called What Plant Is This and What Fungi Is This, or a couple of Facebook groups or social media groups that allow you to reach out and say, hey, I'm not sure what this plant is. What do you think it might be? You can usually get an answer within 24 to 72 hours, and you learn a tremendous amount about your site. So it's never too early to start learning about your site and all the different elements that are within it. But it's really important to start with vegetation. And again, I leave green just for vegetation. When you get to zones and sectors, really do avoid using green or blue unless they have to do with vegetation or water, respectively. Great, folks. Looking forward to seeing all your work, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.